Hello and welcome guys to today's webinar, which will be about the Astera update, the version 11.15. So actually yesterday it became 11.16. I just didn't want to change the title. It could also confuse. So this is actually taking a point of view in the version 11.15. My name is Jesper. I'm working with Astera. If you haven't seen me here at the webinars before. Today will be approximately 1 hour, maybe a little bit less, but just count on 1 hour. Then we are sure that nobody feels that everything is running on a long trip here today. The things we are going through here with the new app version or the new update is the scenes feature. This will take the biggest place, or that's actually the biggest topic what I will talk about today. The new scenes feature. We will also see some example programs for the layer effects. And we also have created a new tile carousel, actually to rearrange the pages and to create a better overview when creating some effects and having some scenes when you start to create this as well. And the same for the target view, we will be able to rearrange everything just to be able to create a better overview for ourselves. The last thing what we will talk about very shortly is DMX by numbers. So the ones of you who are a bit into DMX as well will probably find this very useful for the future as well. Good. So when we take the next here, I would ask you actually to update the app. But before we do that, I would for sure say make a backup and restore. So I'm just going fast through this, just in case you have some effects you use often, that they don't get lost, because these will be deleted when we do the factory reset, which is necessary also to get the new program tiles or effects what we have for the layer effects. So first we want to create a backup so we can be able to restore what we had before when we are, or if we are happy with the things we have been using before. Seeing here on the right side on the screen, we have the app, simply just pushing the 3 lines in the right corner to open the main menu, like that, just closing all the tabs, not to confuse you all. And then we will go down to app settings menu there. In the middle of everything, you will see the backup and restore. That one we push right here, like that. I have been doing a lot of backups, but simply to create a new one, you will just have to push the plus icon up in the right corner, also highlighted just now, like this, and we can actually name it just as we want to. Like that, pushing OK to confirm, and then it will lay down in the bottom here. Push this one, we will be able to restore the backup, and during the factory reset will not restore delete all the backups. They will safely be stored in here. If you want to make sure not to lose them, simply just push the sharing button right up in the corner here and forward it to your email, and afterwards simply just press the file on your tablet and it will reinstall or actually restore the backup on your Astera app again. I just forgot in the beginning to say, if you do have any questions during the webinar, just ask all the questions you may have in the chat just down in the right corner. I have some colleagues already waiting for you to answer all the questions you might have during the 60 minutes here. Good. Now you may do the update, install it if you don't already have the app. And if you do have lights during the webinar, I think it could be a good idea also that you try to press around what I'm doing, just to get the feeling also with the new scenes and how to create it. If there is some doubts, then you also are very, very welcome to play along. So actually the new scenes feature, what we will start with, allows you to predefine sets with a specific effect. So you can combine groups and to make queues. Some of you might know queues or use the term queue, or scenes to be able to actually change the groups just by one click. Moving on. I'm starting in the very basics because actually the first part here is very important. Of course, I'm sure that every one of you know that we have to pair the Astera box right here to the tablet, what we have with the Astera app, and then of course pair the lights to the app so we can be able to control them. I'm sure all of you also know how that is done. I cheated a bit, so I have already paired the lights to the app right here. Resetting the lights also, just to start from point 0, is always a good idea. Actually, there are 4 ways to reset your lights. You can do it through the display on the tubes, the spotlights. Just make a factory reset, press enter to confirm. And on the AX3 right up here, you only have a power on off button. That one you want to hold down approximately 5 seconds, then it turns red, just to say I have now been reset. The other 2 ways is actually through, or 3 ways is through the app. One of them I don't want to mention today. We had a webinar last week with tips, tricks, and less well-known features of the Astera app, where I mentioned the master pin. So if somebody wants to learn about that, you can find it on our webpage under the menu point Academy. Good. Let's start with this first way here in the app to reset. We can simply just push the icon here on the left side to highlight them, or we can hold down one of the icons and it simply just marks the whole list at one time. Now, here up in the right corner, when we select multiple lights, the magic wand will appear. That one we want to push, and we can simply just push the reset lights and OK to confirm. The lights will turn in red, also just to tell we have been reset. And guys, I just want to adjust the brightness so you can see the colors. It's not possible when we do it otherwise. Or have them brighter, like this. Good. The other way to do it is actually through the main menu. Going to the main menu here up in the right corner once again, closing the minimum runtime, and then you will see a menu point called Actions for all lights. When pushing this, you will see in the middle here, Reset Lights on pair CRMX. When we push that one right there, the lights will start flicker. So when flickering, you can actually push the enter button or the power on off button up here to confirm that you want to reset it. We can try with the little one here. It'll also get brighter now it has been reset. Or let's say you have multiple sets just next to each other. You can actually use the little remote control here, pushing the power on button to confirm we want to reset the lights. They will flash, and we actually confirm the reset right here. When done, push done, and we are actually ready and have reset the lights. I will just once again adjust the brightness here fast, because the colors will be very important very soon. Going from the tab in the left corner, maybe you have the main menu or the 5 tabs on the top of your app, depending if it's Android or iOS. Simply just push the target tab, which is highlighting right there, will allow us to come in to a target tile view or a tile view. This is probably the most familiar for all of you, where you also can add the sets and you can simply just choose which one you want to activate to be able to change the different effects on each set. What will be more helpful today is actually the next target view, what we have also pretty new. I think it came out or was updated in the late 2019, is the 3 lines which is highlighted up in the right corner now. Changing this will give us a list view. And I also want to tell you soon why this tile view or list view is actually a lot more convenient, especially when working with scenes. What you see on the presentation, what you don't see now, is that you actually see the current effect running on this set. You also see the brightness in percentage, so you can also adjust it directly here. And you can highlight with the little bulb what you see on the right side, just to make sure or want to see which lights are added to this specific set. Moving on to grouping. Grouping here is a very, very important thing when we talk about scenes. We do have 3 different ways of creating groups. So when we go to the next presentation or next slide, actually pressing the plus button up in the right corner while we are in the target view, we will be able to create a sync set, a flow set, or individual lights. They work basically as sets. So you create a sync set, all do the same. Flow set, let's say you have a long row of tubes, you have one effect running over them all. Or individual lights, I think that says it all. So in addition to create a scene, we will start creating the first sync set right here. So now we can choose to have all the spotlights actually connected or added to this set. Pressing the power on off button on this, you will see it actually being added here on the list. You can also use the remote control with power on, or in the app here, you see the little bar under the AX3 light saying to add lights, press their on, off, or enter button. That one we can actually also press and come into the list of lights what we have connected. Since I want all the spotlights added to this set, I simply just mark them and press the OK down in the bottom right there. Now it's sending to lights, adding them, and we are actually done creating our first set. I will just call this here set number 1. Yeah. Confirming, you press the little arrow up in the left corner like this, and you have the first set actually confirmed or added right there. Adding a scene, or before we add a scene or create a scene, it's very important that we create multiple sets, because a scene actually only makes sense if you add more sets to a scene. So let's create some more sets. I will just keep on doing it with the sync set right here. And I want the next tubes. And by the way, we do have the Hyperion with here today, if somebody haven't seen it yet. Just a big tube right here. Wait a second. Oh, yeah, enter like that. Good. Not to make you all too confused, we will call this tubes top. I confirm by clicking the arrow button there once again. However, I want actually to have the last tubes width, so I will have 3 sets in total, like this. Oh, and like this. Okay, good. This one we call tubes down, just so we can be sure and can figure out which one we are controlling. Now you see the set 1 here. When we go to the next slide, we'll also tell a bit more. Now you see here the sets between the brightness and the bulb is empty. It's very important that we predefine effects, what we need to assign to the sets which we will add or create in the scene. What I want to do first is going to the middle tab here and actually just creating a page here to the left, empty, so every one of us can follow what is happening now. I am just creating an effect by pressing the plus button up in the right corner. Static red program, fine with me. And I want it to be up in the left corner right there. So I want one slide back, please. Now we want to edit this color simply just by pressing the next tab down in the bottom, what you see on the screen right here. Pressing the red long bar will enable us to, for instance, choose a pink. I want, of course, to rename this because it will be easier also for my overview. Hitting the disk button here, like that. And then we have it saved. I'm just gonna fast adjust the brightness here once again so everyone can see and follow like this. Good. I want to create another static color. Going to the editing once again, just doing it a bit fast here. And then now creating an orange. Again, renaming it always helps, like this. Of course, you can also use or actually assign the effects what is already in the app. I'm just doing this to make the scenes a bit more clear and understandable for all you guys. Adding a blue color here. Just gonna work a little bit fast. Calling it blue. Adding a new one. I want it to be black. Also allows us to see the difference when changing the exact scene when we come to that point. Like this. So actually already now I want, or I know which kind of effects I want, so I simply just create them so I can assign them to the different sets what I want to create the scene with. Here I want to create a running effect, just like this, like this. If you are a little bit in doubt with the effects here, we also have the webinar, which is from last week, getting started with the Astera app, can also be seen. And then you will also be able to create effects just like I do here. So this will be my last one, black, and we want maybe a blue orange color to run through, more like this. Hitting the save button, always the save button, just so we can assure that we save everything in the effect what we actually change or edit. Now I have these 6 tiles or 6 programs with effects. Going back here again to my set. Now I have to assign actually an effect to the set I want to create. Let's say the spotlights in the scene I want to create. Choosing it here, highlighting it, and enables me to change the effect. I want it to be orange, or let's say blue. Oh, sorry guys, I actually just have to change something in the static colors here. This I will also come to just soon. So if you have questions about this, it will come actually at the end of the scenes here. Just gotta do like this, like this, like this. Just removing fast the fade in so you can see what is happening instantly instead of slowly. Good, like this. Perfect. So back to the set 1. I want to add the blue color. You see it here on the spotlights now. Changed instantly. The next one I want to add in the scene will be the tube's top here in the middle. I want to add the pink one. And down here with the tubes in the bottom, like here, I want to have the orange one. So I think everyone can see that all the lights here in the different groups also have different colors. Good. Now you also see the setup here on the right side on the screen. This is how I want my first scene to be. So going back to the program page is actually pressing the plus button up in the right corner allows me to create a scene, which you see just down here in the bottom, add a scene. This one we want to push. And now you actually see the 3 sets what we have been creating. And you also see the effects what we have just been assigning to each one of the sets. This is right. This is what I wanted. So now we delete here and call this scene 1. Perfect. If we can move on just like this. Now we have been choosing the sets simply just by pushing them like this, makes them highlight. So now we are going through the basics of just creating a scene. Highlighting them simply just adds them to this scene what we want. We could also just choose 2, but in this case, I want to have all 3. Create and name the scene is simply just tapping up in the bar and deleting the new program, new scene, and changing the name to whatever you want it to be. Now I hit the check mark up in the right corner to add the scene. Also I have the possibility to choose the position right here. I want it to just be on the same page, just like this. Now we have created a scene. I also are going to talk about it as a picture. So the square is a picture with 3 sets inside. Yeah, good. So far, so good. When we go to the next slide, please, we want to see the scenes in use. To see the scenes in use, we can go back here again, creating a new scene. For instance, here at the set 1, highlighting it so I can change the effect. I want to have a pink on the set 1 instead of a blue. Going back here, changing or highlighting the tube's top, I actually, in my next cue, next scene, want this not to be lighted up, so I choose the black in this case. Going here, choosing the tubes down, and I also want to change this effect, especially maybe with the running effect here, so we also have a little bit, can be good. Now I have aligned or assigned all the effects to this sets again, and now we will go back to the program page, simply just create a new scene once again, hitting the add a scene. And we will, of course, need, or I want to add all the sets what we have been creating. And I also want to rename this one called, let's say, scene 2. Then they come in a row of each other. Saving it by pressing the check mark again. And I want it to lay or be just right next to the other one. Having these pictures will also allow you to see which kind of effects you have assigned to the different sets in the picture. Yeah? So now we have the setup like this. Pushing the scene 1 will change it to the settings what we have like this. It can be, I'm not using white or something today, guys, sorry for that. I just want you to see when everything changes with some colors, which is also good for the camera we are using here. But let's say you would have a setup like this with white colors, but one of them should be more warm white. Then of course you would use the set 1 here with, for instance, a 20 or 2700 kelvins, and the other 2 would probably be 4000. Then you would be able to switch the whole scene instantly with one click. This is actually the point of it. So changing to the scene 2 will do or look like this. Perfect. I'm sure your imagination is also pretty big, so I think you also get the point of how to use it. But anyhow, let's try create another set just to play a little bit so you also get the understanding for this. Let's create fast a sync set more. This time I want, let's say, I want this tube here, that one, and I want this one. There's the enter button, and I want the Hyperion to be in this specific set. Good. Then we say tubes. You can of course rename them so it makes more sense for what you are doing at the moment. And then we want to make another sync set, adding the next ones just here, like that, and like that. And I want to have the spotlights with on this one as well, just like that, that, and like that. Perfect. Tubes and spotlights. Just confirming that we want to do it like this. Good. Tube mixed. I want to have a running effect. And the tubes and the spotlights at the other side, I want to be orange. So here we have created what I want to do. Going back to the effect or program page, creating simply just a new scene like that. And I choose the 2 new ones. Actually, you can make 20 sets. It doesn't really matter. Yeah? And you can also add more than 3 sets, of course, to a scene. You can add many. I just don't have the possibility. I don't have so much space for 100 lights. But if you should have 100 lights, you can create a lot of sets and also add them to the scene as you want to do, of course. Let's call this scene number 3. I want these 2 only to be in, because in these 2 sets, if we would choose some of the top ones, would also be some of the same lights. It wouldn't really work. So we want to create the 3rd set right here. Now I have simply just created something where I can change between everything, just like this. Pushing scene 1, scene 2, and scene 3. You can also create so it actually fades in, but I will come to this a little bit later. I hope the first part here makes a lot of good sense for you. Also how to actually edit the target page or the sets first with the effect you want, and then creating the scene. So the scene are actually attached or refers to the target list when you create the scene. Good. Now you see here on the presentation, edit your scene. It can be that in the first scene 1, you actually didn't even wanted a pink. So we also would need to be able to edit this, of course, instead of deleting or creating a new one. Could also create a new one, sure, but why not just edit this one? Simply just tap the scene 1, will be displayed just like this, what we have been saying. Then you have the pencil up in the right corner, like that. A long list will become visible here. The one we want is the edit scene. Now you see a little bar that actually appears up in the top, which enables me to edit this specific scene. Perfect. Now it still works with when we want to change this color, we also need to change the target, the effect on the target, which actually applies or is attached to this pink color. Going back to the target list again, like this, we will see the tube's top up here is the one we actually didn't want it to be pink. We want it to be, let's say, blue instead. Perfect. Just to be sure, we can go back here on the target list, and now it has the blue color instead of the pink color. This you could, of course, do with all the 3 sets attached to the scene as well. Now you see the little OK up in the action. And now we see the top or the tube's top has changed to blue. This we simply just change with the little check mark up here. And now you will also see down in the picture that the set 1 has blue, tube's top has blue, and not anymore pink. This is an easy way to change it. We could also choose the scene 1 once again. If we want a different setup, we could go here to the little pencil, edit scene one more time, like this. Oh, this is not what I want to do. And so the set 1, which refers to the spotlights right up here, going back to the program and actually want to have them orange instead. No, actually, I want them to be black. Going back to the target list, going to my next ones, which I didn't, the tube's top. I also want to change from blue to orange. And of course, I want the last ones also to change the effect like this, maybe the little pixel running right there. And then we just confirm, good, it has changed in the way I want it to be. Going back here and pushing the OK once again up in the right corner. So you are able to edit the scene once this little bar is active. Pushing the OK button, you will also see it has changed here. And to confirm, push the little check mark up in the right corner, and you also see the picture at scene 1 has changed. This is one way of editing, actually. So also the presentation say you can save your new scene. So in this way, you can change if you don't want to create a new, just some small changes here and there. Always refers back to the target list when you also want to edit the scene. So far, so good, and I hope you are following. Maybe we can get a thumbs up in the chat also if you do understand what we are talking about, just to be able to know, because I can't see you, unfortunately, but it would be great with a thumbs up. Then we will know that you have understood everything until now. Good. Let me start from another place. We will now, I told you just about there is some different ways of editing. Let me first just delete these 3 scenes, and then we start from a beginning. Good. Because we have made a little add-on to make it a little bit easier. Good. So the set 1 here, I want to be pink. The tube's top, I want to be blue. And then we see the tubes down. I simply just want some static colors so you get the idea of this. Good. Now we have done this on all 3 sets, adding a new scene like this. Good. I have been writing linked here, and I'm gonna try explain linked as good as I can. You see up here, this is the 3 sets we want to add the new scene. Now you see the pink up in the right corner says linked, the blue says linked, and the orange says linked. This is actually what I want to do. So, just calling it scene 1 here again. And we want to save it, just simply pushing the check mark again, like this. Now I want to create, okay, I will actually create a scene just like that, just to show you what is actually happening with this linked when you change to edit. And simply pushing the effect button here will remove the linked function or the linked mode. Now we want to call it scene 2. Saving again and laying it just next to. You see 2 very identical sets. This is just to show how this actually works. Scene 1 has been linked, scene 2 has not been linked. What I mean by linked in the effect when I say this is you have here the set 1 as a pink one. You want to change this. Maybe a little bit faster, can be. Now actually meaning with the link, these 3 colors in scene 1 refers directly to the effects what you see up in the top. So when pushing the pink one up in the top here, we go to the editing tab just down here, pressing the tab. I didn't want it to be pink, I want it to be blue instead. Hitting the save button will actually change set 1 in scene 1 to the color what I just changed, but the scene 2, which has not been linked, will stay the same. So when you link things to an effect, it directly refers to this specific program or effect program. This is actually working with all of the programs you can edit like this. Perfect. Going to the linked brightness is another thing. Let me just start from another beginning. Everything can be combined together. I just wanted you to understand the concept of creating scenes and what it actually does from the very beginning. Let me just fast remove the scenes here. Like this. Perfect. Oh, we go back here in the tab of target or list, target view, sorry, the list view. And in the set 1, we want, for instance, the orange. And here in the tube's top, we want the pink, simply just changing fast here back again, pushing like this. And then we have the pink and not a blue one, like this. And the tubes down will then be the blue. Good. Now here on the target list, what you see, I also mentioned it in the very beginning, you have the brightnesses. I can actually predefine this by clicking here. Let's say, no, I want to take the tubes. It's a little bit more obvious, I guess. Here, and I will set this to 50%. Yeah. I think it's a little bit hard to see maybe, but let's try see if we can make it work so you also see it just fast, just like that. 50%. Good. Going here to the program page once again, we simply create a new scene with the predefined brightness what I want on this specific set picture. Going like this, you will see the brightness or the master stands actually. Tapping the little sun symbol will allow me to link this. It actually just means that you save the picture with the brightness. So this saves with the 50% what we actually choose. Now we call this scene 1 with the linked master in the tube's top on 50% that we just do there. I just have to actually wait a second to turn up the brightness a bit so you can see a little bit of difference here. Wait, like this. Okay, just like that. Perfect. And not. Okay, cool. Okay, good. Let me do it a little bit otherwise. I have to really make sure that you understand this. Remove tile. Okay, we just start from the very beginning. Sorry for that, guys. But I am sure we will get it at the end anyways. Tube mixed will be pink, and we will have the blue on the other ones. Predefining the tubes mixed here to, let's say, 50%. Just like that, pressing OK. You will also see the brightness has gone down a little bit. I hope you can see the colors. It's a little bit hard when I dim it up. Good. Now we create here again the scene, and then it's the 2 down, what you see here. Just what I told about pressing the little sun will actually allow me to get the linked on this brightness. Now we create scene number 1. Perfect. Like that. Now we actually just do like this. The tubes and the spotlights will now be pink, and the tubes mixed here will be 100% for sure, but we want to change it to the blue color. Good. So we do have on the scene 1, when we want to actually change to the scene 2, what we just create now, back on 100% brightness again, we have predefined it in the target. You will also see the master stands on 100%. We want to link this one, and we want to add the both sets. Then we simply just say scene 2, create next to it. Good. So creating like this, you will see these ones are going down in brightness. I hope you really see the difference. Michael, how does this? Good. So linking just means that you save the brightness into the set or into the picture. Perfect. Good, good, good. I want to also talk a little bit about the fade-in. It's not always that you want them to maybe swift or change so fast. So what we can do is when we create, let's say, a static color, this is actually a global parameter in the app. So this can be done with all the effects in there. We just want to create a new static red program, placing it just under the scenes what we have. And then we can go to the editing tile. And then just here, you have the fade in. So let's just set this to 10 seconds. You can also actually double tap the slider. And then we tap in here, just to be exact, 10 seconds, like this. Good. I want this one to be blue. And we also call this name, or we change the name here to blue fade in. We save, always save, because if you would change the effect, you would have to make it again. I want to create a new one, just like that. And I love, actually the pink is very nice. I think I will do that once again. I let also the fade in be on 10 seconds right here. So tapping the little here, we will change the color fast like this, and changing the name, just so we can be sure what we call it, maybe with a little comment behind like this, and we save it. Now I have two fade-ins. So from the previous two, what I have been making the scenes, I want the third scene maybe to be fading into these effects here. So let's take set 1 here with a like this. The tube's top will be black, and the tube's down, I actually want to create a new color. I will create a green so we can see the difference. Just like that, and like that, and we call it here green. Like that. Perfect. This also has a fade in now, actually. Well, now we have the set 1 with the orange, the tube's top with a black color. I know black is not a color, but still, so you could follow. And the tubes here down below with the green color now. Creating the effect with these. Oh, sorry. My bad. I need to, of course, choose the different effects what has the fade in. Otherwise, it does not make any sense. I'm not trying to confuse you. It's just me that mixes it around a bit here. Good. So with these three fade-in colors, we want to create a new set which allows us to actually create this right here with the scenes like that, scene number 3. That we add just next to the scene right there. Perfect. To be able to see that this is actually fading in, we would probably need to have it like this. So now when we change to the scene 3, who says that? Okay. A light just came up to me. Perfect. I will have you look at this a little bit, just laying here in front of me. Like that. Don't roll anywhere. Maybe some of you saw this already. It's a lot of new stuff here today, and I'm also very excited about all this. Cool. Good. Let us just try to create some different colors than what we have here in the other one. So we want to just create this one as a orange, and we also want to create that one, sorry, as an orange, and this one. I hope I'm not moving too fast, but I really hope and think that you get the concept by now. Now I want to create this scene right here, what I just did there, and scene number 4. Good. Just want to place it right there. Perfect. Actually, now we have this constellation scene right here with the orange in the top and orange in the bottom, where the middle is black. Going to the scene 3, which we have already predefined with a fade in, it will look something similar like, or something to this. Wait a second, just want to have the right brightness so you can see it. Like this, Perfect, just down to there, perfect. So changing to the fading scene will look like this. It was a 10-second fade in, so you will see it actually nice and slow comes here, just in case you don't want it to be turned on or shift instantly. I also think this makes sense now. Yeah, let's move on. It doesn't show again the night rider effect very shortly. Very shortly? Sure, I can try. Good. We were asked to show the night rider effect, and I will try to do that as well. Good. I will have the tubes top and down. Guys, this refers to the layer effects. We actually had a webinar about that last week. where we are going very much into details with this. So you can actually look that through if this is interesting for you. We have the kit just in the bottom here. This is actually the programs for the layers effect, which is also a new part of the update. This page, what you see here. So this is made only with the layer effects program editor. Yeah, call it what you want. Pressing this one will allow us to do like this, having some sort of the same effect, just going back and forth. We could actually just go in and edit that fast, like this, probably taking the real red color. Maybe I'm too young, I never saw this Knight Rider, to be honest. That's not good. I will make that as my mission. Going here, we can actually also, here, and change the speed of the Knight Rider effect. Now it has an edge here, that's why it doesn't go complete up. We can remove the edges so it actually goes to the very end, and also maybe remove the edge fade like this. We can also make it a bit shorter, like that. Then you have the Knight Rider effect. Somebody's trying to tell me something.
Show the running bulb.
Okay. In case you didn't see this before, this is also brand new. Let me just come back to that at the end of the presentation, which will be very soon. But you can wonder a little bit about this just laying in front of me now. In the beginning, I was talking about the tile carousel, which also have been added to this new 11.15, which is now the 11.16. As you see here, the page we have created with the static colors and the scenes can maybe seem a little bit, I'm losing the overview, to be honest. Clicking on the little pencil up here will allow me, again, what you see here, insert a page to the left or to the right. Depends on the taste you have. I like left somehow. Now we have a complete empty page. Scrolling back and pushing the little pencil button one more time. Then down in the bottom here, we can see arrange tiles, that one we want to push. And then we are actually able, let's say we want to hold down the scenes. We want them to be on the other page, simply just like this, and move them around. And if you maybe experienced the old version, you would not be able to actually scroll through like this. It would stop, but now you will be able to scroll through the whole program pages. That's why we call it the carousel. Yeah, I think it makes good sense for you guys. Anyways, good. We confirm with the check mark, this is how we want it. And now we have rearranged the pages just what or how we like it to be. Going on to the next slide is select the DMX numbers or DMX profiles by numbers. Just want to start say that these numbers are referring to our sheets, what we have been making. They are not yet online. We are working on it to get them online on our web page, so you can download them under the different products. So you also can be able to refer to the numbers here in the app, which we will see right now. Going to the tab where we go to the list of connected lights, we can simply just push the AX3 like this to go into the settings. The ones of you who actually maybe already have been doing a lot with DMX have been changing the profile by tapping the table tab right here. The new thing is just underneath here. We can tap this one and you will be able to search, especially when you do it with the tubes, have a lot of different. Let's try to take the tubes. Let's say the Hyperion, for instance, like that, and profile by number. Then you have a lot of profiles and you can actually search it if you know which one you want to do or want to choose for this DMX setup. So it could be 126. There we have it. Simply click it, then it's done. I think there will come an update also or published that we have these sheets online at some point. So just follow with if this is something what you find very, very good compared to the way you use it. Perfect. I think we can go to the next slide. Just go to the next slide. The last slide, because then we can look at something beautiful at least while we are talking about the bulb here. Good. If somebody or some of you might have heard about it, the bulb. We just published the name for the bulb, which has been a long process. We have actually had a lot of people suggesting names. It's being called from now on the NYX bulb. This is the official name now, guys. If you didn't know that there's coming a bulb, there is coming a bulb very soon. The bulb here has the same LEDs as the Titans, the Helios and the Hyperion, of course, and without a battery, but you will be able to screw it into a socket, E27, or you actually also have the power station, what we have special made for the bulb here. I don't think, do we have anything mounting, or maybe? Otherwise, I don't think it makes so much sense. Exactly, yes, sir. So this will be actually a standard thing within the package. So you can mount it here on the power station. Just talking a little bit short about it, like that. Screwing in the bulb. When fixing it to the power station like this, you will need to feed it with this one right here. Now we have it, and the little display allows us actually to change the brightness and the colors, just like on the display here on the Titan. We, in the future, in a few weeks, maybe in a month, we will have a webinar only for the bulb. So if this is very interesting for you, follow the page and you will be able to see the bulb a lot more close up and a lot more detailed. Yes. Guys, we have reached the end. And I really do hope I made myself understandable with the scenes here. If you did miss out on some questions, or maybe didn't, or have questions now, you are more than welcome just to write me on my mail, which you also see on the left side here on the screen. And if you didn't already do it, we do have a Facebook group called Astera Users Group Official. All us from Astera is in there, ready to answer your questions, and actually all other guys are also answering and helping each other out. I think it's a great community to become a part of. Good. The webinar is being recorded, as always, will be available on our webpage, astera-led.com, under the menu point Academy, and we have an archive just down in the bottom where you can review this very nice webinar here. Guys, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep it up. Thank you for watching. See you the next time.